Showtime. I'm back. Hey, what's up? Welcome, everybody. It's iCkEdMeL. How you guys doing tonight? Thank you for joining me. Appreciate it. Let me take a quick look at the chat. Gigi, Magsby, hey, what's up? Melanin Doc, Flossie, Nerlin, if I'm saying that right. Welcome. Pretty K, Lisa, Kathy, Miss Parker, Michelle, Sin. Hey, Sin. Welcome. Kara. Today we're going to be talking about Alexis Sharkey, or Alexis Robinette Sharkey, however you say it. And I got a lot of information, a lot of details, several videos. We're going to take a look at some interviews. This story caught a lot of attention in the media, I guess. What's up, Dink? Lisa, Kathy, Sandy. It's always interesting to me, too. I was thinking about this today, and I think about it sometimes where some stories catch more attention than others. Like this story is like a media sensation, you know? And it's just kind of interesting to me. I was thinking a little bit about the other story I covered from Texas, Brianna. By the way, thank you for people that came through on that video, because that video is actually doing really good. The best videos for this month for me, so appreciate that. Stacy, thank you. Oh, by the way, yeah, before we get started, thank you. Brownstone sent me a PayPal last time, and also, I lost my tab. On YouTube, I had a couple of super chats. Just want to thank those people really quick. Giving it a couple of minutes before we start. And at the end of the stream, I will open up the phone lines for a bit if anybody wants to call in and give their theories or thoughts, speculation, whatever, if they want to. Not required. For super chats, Angela, Crystal, Yasmin, Spivvy, and let me see, Mel and Cindy. Thank you guys. So, hey, Cheryl, Luke, April, Katrina. So we're going to be talking about Alexis. Some of the nicknames, Lexus or Lex. And she had an Instagram following. Apparently, she doesn't like to be called influencer, according to her sister. I don't know if that's true or not, because some of her friends call her an influencer or whatever they call it. She had 28,000 followers at the time of where this whole situation happened, which to me, I mean, that's great, but I don't know if that's really considered influencer, 20,000. And after she passed, which we're going to get into all those details, her account, last I checked, it was around 70,000. So it's almost like, it's kind of crazy when you pass, people are more interested, right? So she had her Instagram page. She also had she was a mentor at Monet, which we're going to talk about a little bit about that later. The sister mentions that. Alexis' sister mentions it. If anybody wants to call in later too with their thoughts on Monet, kind of off topic, because I don't think that really has much to do with the story. And she's from Pennsylvania, studied biology education at the University of Pittsburgh at Bradford. We're mostly going to be talking about Alexis and her husband, Tom Sharkey, but True Crime Society was saying that people were kind of wondering, which is a great site, by the way, we're wondering about the legitimacy of their marriage, but I guess there's something online. And so let's get started. Welcome. I thought first I could play these two clips. Stacy is Alexis' mother, and we have her sister. I don't know if this sister is Tony. I had the name down somewhere, but I figured I could play these clips to give you a little bit of insight as to her and maybe the family, the structure. Thank you guys for joining, by the way. Please hit like and share if you don't mind. Let's get started. Let's do the mother's small clip.
Alexis.
Clip here first. All right.
She was literally a ray of sunshine from the beginning. She was so excited about finding her way in the world. And even though we're from a small town and she loves coming home, it's beautiful here. She wants to see the world, always wanted to see the world. And if you know anything about her, or anybody knows anything about her, they know that she traveled as much as she could. We're very broken. We're very brokenhearted. It's just so painful for someone so bright and having so much to offer just to be gone, snuffed out. And I don't know why. I don't know why. And the horrific nature of her last moments must have been, I can't even go there. I do believe she was murdered. Yes. From what I've been able to gather, as well as a mother's gut. I learned very young as a mom to trust my gut, and it's not let me down.
So that's a little clip. That's Stacy, Alexis' mother. I want to play a little bit of the sister too, because she gives a little bit of insight about the family, and then we'll talk a little bit more. And I think her, let's see here, Toby was the name. Toby said that she hates to be called influencer or influence, whatever. Let me play this here.
Toby, tell me about your sister, Alexis. We've obviously, we've learned so much about her in the past week or so here in Houston. Were you guys close?
We never were really close. We were just close enough in age where we kind of fought more than anything else once we kind of got to those teenage years. We honestly were kind of like fire and ice. Most people would joke that we were complete opposites. I ran up north to the cold and the mountains, and she went down to Texas where it's hot all the time. And we always used to joke that no matter where our parents wanted to go on vacation, they'd be able to go whether they wanted to go to the hot or cold because we were just so different. But no, she was so fantastic. She had a way of lighting up the room. When she smiled and when she laughed, she had a way to make everyone feel included. Like, you might not know her and you could be in the room and she'd see you feeling awkward and she'd come over and like pull you over to her group of friends and introduce you to people. And she was just such a light.
How are you feeling? How are you doing?
It's a lot. It's definitely just taking everything an hour at a time, a day at a time. We were never super close, especially living so far away. I think the last conversation that we had was when I got snowed for the first time in New Hampshire, and I sent her a photo, and I'm pretty sure it's something along the lines of, I know you hate the snow, but look how freaking pretty this is. And she sent me back a photo of her at the pool that day, and we just kind of talked about how we love the different temperatures so much. And it was so good. And it was just, it's hard. You move away, you lose touch. It's a lot.
You've come home to be with your mom. Tell me about that.
Thanks, Magsby. Appreciate that.
Either the drive back, the flight back, or we got back. What are you thinking about on your way home when you finally get to see your mom?
Oh, we got in at like midnight last night. My boyfriend helped me with the drive down. It's like a 10-hour drive. It was just, it's a lot of different things between like, I'm still kind of going through the denial of like, I know she's gone, but it hasn't fully set in yet. And then just a lot of anger that somebody took us from her so soon. Because I have this terrible feeling that it was foul play. And it hurts me so much because she was just such a fun, happy person. Like, who had so much anger in them that they could do this to her.
I think what's obviously driving a lot of the attention, not just her story, is the idea that we don't have any.
And by the way, Alexis is 26, Tom is 49.
Clear answers at the point. How has that been for your family? I know for your mom, and the idea that you simply just don't know at this point. There's no resolution. There's no arrest. There's just this kind of mystery behind what happened.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like that's the hardest part of all of it, is because like I know she's gone and I miss her dearly, but not knowing how she was taken from us or why, and just all of the unknown is really kind of hard to work through on its own. Because it's like, oh, we worked through her being gone, and then maybe months later we might find out how she was taken from us, and then it's kind of, I'm just worried it's all going to start over again. And it's just, it's a lot. It's rough.
Now, I was talking to your mom the other day, and she said that she might have had plans to come down here next week. Is she still planning that? Or are you planning to come with her?
I am planning on going with my family or my mom or whoever it is when they go down to Houston. Yes, that is in my plans at this time.
Is that next week, or is that still up in the air?
I don't know what the exact date is at this point.
I've been speaking with some of Lex's, or they called her Lex down here, Lex's close friends who said they're fighting for justice. What is justice in this case? Because so much of what happened is unknown.
And I think that's part of it too. Fighting for justice is fighting for the parts that are unknown to become known. Because we can't get justice for foul play if we don't know if there was foul play or not. Until we know the cause of death, all we can say is that we demand justice because there's just too many unknowns.
Again, you come from, so she's the oldest sister, you're the middle one, and then there's a younger sister, right?
Yeah, there's my little sister as well.
And how old is she? She's in her teenagers?
She just became a teenager this year.
So did she turn 10 or 13?
She turned 13.
All right, so she's the youngest one. No
she's
boys.
like 12 years younger than me.
All girls, no boys.
All girls.
If you wanted the world to know anything about your sister, what would it be? What would you want us to get out there?
Oh my gosh, she was so smart. You could ask her a question about any one little minute thing that you might have a slight interest in, and she would dive into doing research on this topic if she knew it would make you happy. She actually said this one time after she graduated college that if she could get paid to just do research all of the time, she would be living her dream life because she just loved.
Elria, if I'm saying it right, she says that they were married. They posted a certificate in a Facebook group. That was a question, people that I saw on True Crime Society. So she's confirming or saying that they were married.
Loved learning and just, she was so curious and fascinated about everything. Just her drive for knowledge is just really, it was just really spectacular.
What have you made about her social media presence? Like, do you have a similar presence as she does?
No, I attempted to run the whole multi-level marketing social media presence. It's just not something I was really willing to keep up with in my life because part of doing the type of Monet business she was doing is putting your life out there.
And so Monet was the business thing that Alexis was doing currently at the time, which we're going to talk a little bit about that later, but they have this sort of reputation allegedly for being like a pyramid scheme. And there is information about lawsuits and stuff like that, but that's where she was currently working. In a little bit, we're going to talk about the previous job she had, Twin Peaks, because she worked with a friend there that actually introduced her to Tom. So we're going to get into that in a second here.
Being like, she was just she wanted everybody to be happy and be like, hey, you can be happy too. And like, here's how we can be happy. And a lot of people I know have been like, it's a scam. But for her, she was living her best full life doing this. And in doing so, she was just ecstatic and happy. I'm sorry. I know I keep going back to her and you're asking me questions about me. It's just, she's kind of always on my mind right now.
No, of course. I just, I find it funny because I'm thinking of my own relationship with my sibling, and she's a little bit older than me, and she doesn't really do social media. And anyways, anything else? I mean, do you have any? I know you're far removed, kind of from the process, but do you have any idea what happened? Have you have any semblance of what may have happened down here?
I really don't. It's hard being far away and not keeping in close touch. I know what I said earlier, but I mean, she was found naked. I mean, there was foul play in discovering everything. It's just, I don't know what happened. And all I really want right now are answers.
Were you close to her husband? Has he reached out? Has he said anything?
Tom and I weren't really close beforehand. We were in a group chat with the whole family and we did the usual happy birthdays, happy Thanksgiving, and all of that family stuff. But no, I went down last spring and I spent a long weekend with them and everything, they seemed happy.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that why do you think her story, why do you think her particular story has kind of resonated or just gained so much interest really from all corners of this country? We've been inundated with requests for more information. Why do you think that is?
I think part of it is the fact and how she was found. She was found naked, alone on this side of the road. And with there being so many unknown facts leading to her death, everybody's kind of watching, because I feel like for a lot of the country, it's a big, what if that was my sister? What if that was my daughter? What if that was my wife? And in all of these thoughts, everybody wants to know what happens, even if it's for themselves, just a cautionary tale moving forward on how to be safer in the future, which sounds, I don't know, almost bad in a way, but at the same time, the unknown, I feel, is the scariest part of all of it.
Yeah.
And everybody just wants answers.
When you came down here in the spring, did you come here to Houston, or were they out in the Odessa area, like West
I
Texas?
believe they were still living in the Odessa area at the time.
So you went out to West Texas?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's all my questions. Is there anything else that I haven't asked? Is there anything else that you want to make sure that we get out there?
Honestly, I know it's the main way she's being spoken about is that she was an influencer, but honestly, I feel like she would have honestly hated that title so much. She wasn't trying to influence anything. She was a smart, savvy, successful businesswoman. And that's how I want everyone to remember her.
So throw away that title. Stop using it.
Throw it away. She actually hated that word. If you go on to her friend Ursula's Instagram story, actually, she had posted a screenshot from Lexi about how much she hated that word and how the title didn't fit her. She wasn't an influencer. She was a businesswoman.
Okay, so that was Alexis' sister. I wanted to play those two clips a little bit to kind of give an introductory a little bit some of the family and their thoughts on her. Spivvy, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. She says, thanks for your great reporting, always supporting your channel. Thank you. And that's true. You always are. Appreciate that. Leave it to Bieber. Appreciate that. Super chat. So, all right. So that was a sister, and Alexis worked at Monet. She was a mentor. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. She's from Pennsylvania, studied biology education at the University of Pittsburgh at Bradford. So now, where did Alexis meet Tom Sharkey and their whole relationship with that? Because it says that Alexis once lived in Midland, Odessa, Texas, and she used to work at, what's it called? I don't want to say the wrong thing. The Twin something? Something. Twin Peaks. I was gonna say Twin Towers. I was like, let me not get that wrong. And she also had an ex-fiance back then, so it's just kind of an interesting piece to bring into it. Let me play that clip. Heidi Han. Most MLMs are schemes. I never trusted those MLM things. We're gonna talk about that more later, but I have friends that used to be into that kind of stuff, or different types of like phone services, internet stuff. People used to be calling me all the time, yo, Mel, sign up, yo, Mel. Oh, we're having a meeting. Mel. Hey, you got to do this. Oh, come on. I've never been into that kind of stuff. Not interested. Oh, and at the end, too, I'll give the Discord if you guys want to talk after the live stream, too, like on Discord. But yeah, let me play this.
Before moving to Houston, Alexis lived in Odessa, Texas, where she met her husband. Janelle Bluda talks to a friend who says she helped introduce the couple.
I ended up being her trainer at Twins.
They started as co-workers,
We kind of clicked, and it turned out to us hanging out all the time.
but soon became much more.
She was very open, very sweet and caring.
Before Alexis Sharkey moved to Houston, she lived in Odessa, where she worked at the restaurant Twin Peaks.
Days off, we were laying out tanning. Then we get ready, go out, have some fun.
Alexis's friend and former co-worker, who asked us not to identify her, says they were instant friends.
At the time, her and her ex-fiance were not doing so good. So I kind of stepped in, helped her get out of that.
She says it was
Jason.
her who helped introduce Alexis to her husband, Tom.
He was one of our regulars. He would come in, talk to us, make us laugh. They clicked. And just watching them click, and they're laughing, they're smiling, and I was like, all right.
Alexis eventually moved, but the two kept in touch, and she followed Alexis's journey and success on social media.
I was proud of her. She went out there and she did something where she could still travel and see the world, all while influencing other people's lives.
But when she heard the news of Alexis's tragic death,
Like, it's not okay what happened to her. It's not.
her heart stopped.
I've never met anyone with the purest soul until I met her.
And now she, like so many others, just wants to know What happened?
I hope her family gets what they need.
So this friend introduced Alexis to Tom. I guess they were both working at this Twin Peaks place, and she also had an ex-fiance, which I don't know much of the story behind the ex-fiance, but I guess apparently it wasn't good. And from there, what I have here too in the notes is that they both moved to Grand Junction, Colorado, for about 4 months in 2019, before they moved to Houston in January. And before I play the next clip too, which is going to be some of her friends from Monet talking, we're going to get into all the allegations too, right? There's all these allegations that's coming from the friends. Just to give you a little synopsis, things like that they had a troubled relationship. One friend claimed that they were going through a divorce, though Tom has denied that. And another friend claimed that they were separating. Sharkey had claimed to the friend, supposedly, allegedly, that the husband had been putting hands on her, which I have video clips. We're going to talk about that more later. The person that she says, I know they were going through some things. One friend, Kendra, she had mentioned being separated, even though they were still living in the same apartment. I actually pulled her aside 2 weeks ago to let her know I'm here for her, and I know that something's going on because her demeanor had changed over the last month. Also, supposedly Tom's been getting death threats on social media. He claimed also, I mean, I don't know if I should talk about this now, but supposedly the night that she disappeared, that she left the house, supposedly she was intoxicated. The night that she went missing, he suggested she was intoxicated under the influence. So, and he's disabled all his social media since November 3rd. He did go off on a tangent, but let me just play this thing for, not really a tangent, but let me play this.
Alexis's friends are sharing more about the social media influencer and her life before she moved to Houston.
Thank you, Redrum.
Woman. Like when I saw her, I was like, you're like, I told her in private, I was like, she's radiating. Like, I'm so proud of you.
They're the words Brittany Pember will always remember.
That's when I first got to meet her.
Spoken to her by a friend she'll never forget.
She was just like the light of the room. Like she was just so smart and just so funny.
Brittany has known Alexis Sharkey for a couple years now. The two met through their work with Monet, a company that sells hair and skincare products, where Brittany says Alexis worked her way to the top, becoming executive director.
She worked her butt off to get where she was.
Alexis met so many
And the vibe that I get from a lot of this, just from the outside looking in, it looks a lot of like superficiality, if that's even a word. Sarah, thank you. I know you've been requesting this video for a while. You should have been here first. It just, to me, it seems very plastic, very just superficial. The group of people, I don't know. I guess that's if influencers, or they don't like to be called, whatever they're called, people, let's say YouTubers, whatever, they all gather together. It just seems very, I don't know, you know.
friends through Monet and her many work trips.
I got that. Nice.
That's where she also met Lauren.
She's grown to be such a good friend to me. And I just can't believe she's gone.
Lauren says before Houston, Alexis once lived in Midland, Odessa, and that's where she met her husband, Tom. She says the two moved to Grand Junction, Colorado for about 4 months in 2019.
I know she absolutely loved it, and just traveling and being with her friends and exploring was her favorite things in the entire world.
And she says the couple moved to Houston this past January.
So I don't think everyone understands how good at ziplining we are.
And now detectives are trying to find out what went wrong.
I mean, without a doubt in my mind, foul play was involved, and this was a murder.
How this vibrant young life ended so soon.
Also with Tom, the little bit that I gathered, there's probably more. Maybe other people know. But supposedly he's a consultant at West Texas, a Facebook page that describes its mission as to provide information relevant to West Texas regarding travel, whatever, right? He, I guess on his page, which whatever, studied at the School of Hard Knocks, which is whatever, and was from Fort Myers, Florida. His Facebook page is filled with bodybuilding pictures. So let's talk a little bit more about the days before she went missing and the day she went missing. So as far as when the mother Stacy last spoke to Alexis, I was a little confused. It was either the day before Thanksgiving or both, because I think she spoke to her on the phone the day before. She did message her, I believe, in the group chat. This, if you listened earlier, the sister was talking about the family. They're in like this group chat, and I think that maybe the mother had messaged Alexis that day, just a text like "I love you" kind of thing. We're gonna take a look at that clip. The mother said that Thanksgiving was a busy day on her end and our end, and so it was just one of those passing type of "I love you" things. And then Friday, honestly, got away. A busy day. We never talked, and then she went missing Friday night. Okay. And so let me do this real quick, just to.
There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that this is anything but foul play.
Stacey Robinald wants to know what happened to her daughter.
All right, talk to you guys later.
Alexis Sharkey had a seemingly picture-perfect life and shared many of her waking moments with her tens of thousands of followers. She posted envy-inducing snaps from stunning destinations.
I'm just using the tiniest amount.
The 26-year-old was focused on building her brand as an Instagram influencer.
So I got these pieces to try out.
And poured lots of time into her thriving beauty business.
Here's how I do it. She's as beautiful on the inside as she was on the outside.
She wasn't one of those people that had to jump up and be that center of attention. You just like to be with her. And she just would make you laugh. She has grit. And whatever she put her mind to, she would work to the hardest degree she could to be the most successful.
Getting married in Vegas.
Last December, Alexis married 49-year-old Tom Sharkey. She would playfully reference their 23-year age difference with the hashtag age gap, and she shared photos from her road trips with the former bodybuilder on YouTube. The newlyweds had been settling into life in Houston, but her friend Kendra Martin says something had been troubling Alexis.
I pulled her aside and I said that I had noticed that something's going on, and she started crying. She did mention that she was going through some sort of separation.
Alexis skipped Thanksgiving at her family's home in Pennsylvania and remained in Texas, but she was looking forward to Christmas at her parents' home.
We have a family chat. We were just doing the whole happy Thanksgiving, love you, miss you.
So this is where I'm saying I believe Dave just messaged on Thanksgiving, the family group chat.
Can't wait to see you at Christmas, this whole bit.
Yeah, well, people are saying, as far as Lakira and Tori, they're saying the influencer title, which according to the sister, she doesn't like that. Alexis doesn't like that. Everybody's a YouTuber, everybody's an influencer, everybody's a celebrity, it seems like. I don't know. But I had never heard of Alexis until this situation, And so Thanksgiving Day. Okay, so Thanksgiving Day, 11/26. Tanya, which is a friend of Alexis, Tanya Ricardo, supposedly they met this year from the note that I took. Bumblebee BFF. Okay, I guess that's a best friends for everything. Honestly, when I was talking to Lori about that, it was the first time I had ever heard of a BFF app. I didn't know they had apps for people that needed to find friends. I was really surprised about that. I was like, damn, I guess maybe that's the younger generation thing that they, it's just kind of, I don't know. I thought it was kind of weird, but maybe I'm getting old. BFF app. And so that's how they met. And Tanya says that on Thanksgiving Day, Alexis went and spent Thanksgiving with her and her family, which we're going to look at her whole interview next. And so according to the Daily Beast, her hardships at the home had prompted Sharkey to spend Thanksgiving with her friend Tanya and her family. Tanya told the Daily Beast that Sharkey had a wonderful time laughing and playing board games. The other thing too, and I don't know where we're going to watch a Nancy Grace clip, because Nancy Grace did some commentary on this too. We're going to watch it at the end. But she claimed that Tom and Alexis had Thanksgiving breakfast or something. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what she said. That's what she said. And so let's take a look at this next clip, because what happened was Friday, which was the last day that which was the day Alexis went missing. She had plans with her friends and Tanya. They were supposed to go to the movies, and around 6 p.m. supposedly is the last time that they hear from Alexis. She stopped responding, And so let me check out this one. Tanya and
How
Ricardo.
long did you know Alexis? Because I know her mom said she recently moved to Houston.
Right. She moved here in January, and we met, I mean, within weeks of her moving here. I was kind of looking for a new group of friends, and I brought this group of friends together, and she showed up to this dinner. And since that day, I mean, she's just been part of our circle.
What kind of, I mean, she's 26. I was telling you that I was scrolling through. It's kind of a deep dive. She just knew so many people. She was active. I was looking at this vacation that she and her husband had just taken, this road trip. She seemed bubbly and full of life to me. I didn't know her. How would you describe her?
Exactly like you did. She was always happy, always had a smile on her face. A lot of people looked up to her. She was just very, very positive, always very knowledgeable, knew a lot about what was going on. Loved being an influencer, as you can see, and sharing, you know, tips and tricks about makeup and hair and fashion. If we needed her for anything to do with that, she was the girl to go to for sure.
How did you meet her?
We actually met on Bumble BFF.
Oh, I've used it before and never had success. So she was a girl's girl. She was looking for friends when you met her.
Yeah, she was looking for friends, and she definitely found people that really, really loved her, truly.
And so kind of tell, like, when was the last time you talked to her?
She was actually at my house on Thanksgiving. We spent Thanksgiving together with my family. And then we had made plans Friday to get together Saturday because it was raining. We were going to watch movies all day. And the last time I spoke to her was Friday around 6 o'clock was when my last text message was sent to her.
Black Friday.
PM.
Yes.
And did it go unresponded? Like, did you hear from her? That was period the end. Okay, you thought everything was okay.
Yeah, I thought everything was fine. And then the next morning I woke up really early. I sent a text to the group of girls. We have a shared chat and said, who's coming over, you know, movie day or whatever. Alexis would have been the first person to respond. I mean, if I'm going to jail, Alexis is the first person I'm calling or texting because I know she's going to answer within seconds. So I started getting a little concerned and I said, this isn't normal. And so all the girls kind of got together and we were like, okay, well, what was the last time you talked to her? You know, when was the last time you talked to her? And they all said around 6 p.m. Friday.
And what was that conversation about, the last text message you sent her?
The last conversation I had with her, she was asking me what I was doing Friday night. And I said, well, my mom's in town from Mexico, so I'm going to stay home with her. And then we said, okay, love you, whatever. And
really? Juanita?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. My mind doesn't even go anywhere. I still feel like she's here. You know, I don't know who could have done something like this to her. We were her friends. She wasn't one to have a lot of group of friends. If she needed something, if she needed someone to come pick her up or take her somewhere, or if she was going to get in the car and go somewhere, it would have been to my house or the 7 other girls that she was close with.
And none of you all are in walking distance to her?
No.
So she would have, you really do believe she would have called you and said, come pick me up?
She would have called us or taken an Uber or something. I mean, she wouldn't have walked anywhere. No.
What can you, because you can't even wrap your mind around this, right? Like, what a 48 hours from Thanksgiving to Saturday. Can you even imagine who would have done this to her? Like, do you have a message to that person? They clearly tried to hide her body, and they disrespected her. I mean, just all of it so much. What do you say to that?
Whoever did this we're going to find them. We're going to do everything it takes so everyone can put her to rest in peace and where we can get answers and just move forward. But no one gets away with something
Cell
like
phone
this.
missing.
No one. I mean,
Hey, Megan.
just threw her on the side of the road naked like garbage. I don't get it. So ugly.
It is, right? It's kind of the worst. It is like garbage. I hadn't thought about it, but that's what it, right? And 8 miles from where she was last seen, and I'm trying to like piece all the information together, and it just didn't seem to add up, especially hearing that she was among friends on Thanksgiving, like the day before, and making plans for that weekend.
Yeah, and like I said, it's very unlike her to not follow through with plans. It's very unlike her to not reach out when someone texts her. When we say something, we're doing something, she does it. She doesn't go back on her word at all. And she actually lives about 3 minutes away where her body was found.
I saw that, just 8 miles, just down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And is she ever like, is it like her to not have her cell phone with her? Or
no.
Any of the, like, have you talked to the, like, oh my gosh, this was not there. This is not there. This was.
No, she is attached to her phone. She is a social media queen. She's an influencer. She works from her phone. Like I said, if I was in trouble, she would be the first person I would call. And we called and called and called and called, and her phone was on and her messages were being sent, but not being read because she had her read receipts on. And then until yesterday is when her phone was shut off by whoever has it. Or, you know, maybe it was thrown somewhere and it finally died. But, I mean, when we realized that her social media was not active for over 12 hours, you're like, okay, this is not right. Yeah, this is not right.
And were you in communication at all with her mom? I know they're out of state. They're trying to file these reports. I didn't know if, you know, sometimes moms reach out to the girlfriends, you know, because they just know how close we all are to each other.
Right. I gave it a little bit of time. I called her mom because I was the one that I went to her apartment, knocked on her door. You know, I did all that because I lived the closest. And so after a while, I was contemplating, should I call her mom? Like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to worry her because she's far, far away.
Right.
And finally, after a while of just sitting in my car outside of her apartment, I said, I have to call her because I'm a mom. I would want to know.
So you notified the mom?
Yes.
And then she got all the balls rolling?
Yep.
So it's been stated that the mother and Thomas supposedly called and alerted the mother. Friends alerted them to Alexis. The mom and friends alerted them, but Thomas hadn't reported her missing. The mother and the friends reported her missing. This all happened, I believe, on Saturday. Her body was found Saturday, but they didn't know it was her until Sunday, I believe. We're gonna get into that more.
Yeah.
It's a little confusing.
What are you and your friends doing now?
Well, we just started a GoFundMe for the family, for, you know, hotel expenses, funeral stuff, because obviously that's not something they should be worried about right now.
Right.
We just organized a memorial, which we're having at Buffalo Bayou Park Thursday at noon.
Can we share that publicly?
Yeah, absolutely, please.
And then if you email me the GoFundMe link, I'll share that online as well.
Okay, yeah, I can send you that, and I can send you the flyer that we made if you'd like.
Yeah, noon on Thursday. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Cause of death pending. Yep. All right, so I lost my thought here for a second. Okay, so Stacy said that they were first, which is the mother, Alexis' mother, stated that they were first alerted to her being missing by both Thomas and a friend. This was according to, I believe, ABC 13. Stacy said her daughter's husband called the family to let her know that Sharkey went missing. He hadn't heard from her since Friday. They were notified on Saturday, 11/28/2020. Okay. The time of that, I don't know exactly, but they were notified that she was missing. by her husband. So I don't know if they both notified them the same day or did Alexis do it. I don't know. Kind of confusing. Stacy also said, the mother, this is according to the NY Post, she originally told local media her daughter left her apartment, which records show she purchased with her husband in July. On Friday night, after an argument, Black Friday, she did not take her car and was unreachable for the rest of the night and into the next morning, family said. It was not clear whom the argument was with or what it was about, which I'm kind of confused because I read that the husband argued with her. Or was there somebody else? The next day, the Alexis hubby called her mom to let her know that her daughter was missing, and then the next day, Alexis hubby called her mom to let her know her daughter was missing. And later that night, more than 12 hours after Alexis' body had been found by authorities, the distraught mother took to Facebook to ask for help, did her plea. So Saturday, okay, all this craziness is going on Saturday, November 28th. I guess it was a sanitation worker, a worker for the city, was driving his truck and he finds this naked body around, according to people.com, 8 a.m. One of the videos I saw, they state 9 a.m. Around that time on the 1000 block of Red Haw near Cathy Freeway. And the HPD detective said that the employee was driving. When the employees were driving, they saw her feet from the bushes. Her body had no obvious wounds or signs of trauma. The preliminary autopsy on Sharkey's remains did not rule out foul play. And they're going to have to do more testing to find out the results. So this guy's name that found the body, his name is John Richardson. We're going to take a look at a clip from that. The day he found her remains, he's been playing back and back over his head. Let me just play that clip right now.
For John Richardson, it's a Saturday morning he'll never forget.
It plays back in my head. You know, it's been playing back in my head every day.
He was at work for the City of Houston Solid Waste when Richardson says he got a call from an employee.
He said he thought he seen a body or a mannequin, so he wasn't for sure. He wasn't going to stop because he was kind of, he was scared or whatever case may be. So he asked me to come out there and check it out.
So as his supervisor, Richardson went to check it out and still can't believe what they found.
So as we was driving, we could see the feet. So we got out and looked, and there it was. She was laying there, deceased. She was no clothes on, and I just got on the phone and I called 911.
What Richardson didn't realize at the time, the body he had just discovered was 26-year-old Alexis Sharkey.
She was a beautiful, fun ray of light to be around, and I can't understand it.
Her mom, Stacy Robinalt, spoke to us by phone.
I think that's why it's so surreal for the family, because we cannot grasp on why harm would be done to her.
Saying even though it's been agonizing,
we're just trapped in the waiting.
They're just waiting for police to do their work.
I talk to the detectives every day, and they assure me that they are, working along and that they are reviewing and talking to people. And so I know that they're working along. To me, 5 days feels like an eternity, and to them, I'm sure they're just, getting rolling.
Police still have not determined a cause of death in the case, but in her heart, Robinalt fully believes someone did this to her daughter.
I guess my question would be why? Why would you do something so horrific to her? What was the ultimate gain? What was gained from that? Because all I know is tremendous loss.
It's kind of interesting too that they say that she wasn't found with any marks or signs of trauma or anything like that. So it just kind of makes you wonder what happened. Anything to do with substances. I don't know, the way she was found naked. Was that just why naked? Was it something to embarrass her? Was it something that, I don't know, she was in a cold bath? They took her clothes off put her in a cold bath, and then, I don't know, it didn't work out. I don't know, just throwing, why naked? So I wanted to play, well, let me read this really quick first. I have a couple other clips. This is from the Daily Beast, but I got that from this little portion from True Crime Society. And then we're also going to read this message that was supposedly from a Facebook group that Flossie sent me. And it's kind of long. And supposedly this is the Tom's, allegedly, his side of the story about what happened. But the Daily Beast, here it says, her and her husband were going through a divorce, one friend said. The decision to end her marriage, the friend said, came after the girl's trip to Marfa, Texas, last month, where Sharkey claimed her husband had been putting hands on her. Throughout the trip, he was sending really awful, nasty messages to her, the friend said. But one night when she and I were talking alone, she said he strangles me and chokes me out, and I black out and wake up on the bathroom floor every single time. The other friends also told the Daily Beast that Sharkey had complained about physical abuse and that her husband could be controlling and manipulative in group settings. While it's unclear if Sharkey had actually filed paperwork to dissolve her marriage, friends said that her behavior changed over the last month. She wasn't posting on social media as much, and she always wanted to be around her friends all the time to avoid going home, which that part at least coincides with her not being home for Thanksgiving and going to spend it with friends, a friend that she had just met that year, BFF, Bumble, whatever they call it. It also says, I know they were going through some things, Kendra said. One of Sharkey's friends told the Daily Beast she had mentioned being separated even though they were still living in the apartment. I had actually pulled her aside 2 weeks ago. We saw this part already. And I know something was going on because of her demeanor. And she claims that the reason she wasn't home with the husband on Thanksgiving was because of the issues that they were having. So first, I wanted to play this one clip where it says it was Alexis's mother and the friends that reported her missing.
It's important to remember that mom and her friends first alerted us to this woman's disappearance. I spoke with her husband today this morning by
Thanks,
phone.
Emily.
Quite
Appreciate
honestly,
that.
it was a strange conversation. He was very upset. He said that he had been talking to detectives, that he did everything in his power to find his wife, but
Get rid
he
of evidence.
abruptly ended the conversation, hanging up on me, in fact, saying he did not want us to contact him again.
So I think this was the only interview that he did. There's another video clip that I pulled up that has a little bit more information with regards to their conversation. And this here is supposedly Tom getting death threats, and also supposedly, I read this in an article, Tom was the one to ID her body, Alexis' body. He went to the coroner's office on Sunday, not knowing that that was going to be her. So let me play this
We
clip.
want to begin today with the investigation into the death of Alexis Sharkey. All new today. Her husband is talking with ABC 13 about his loss again and how he says he's the one who found her body.
A big revelation for today. He says he's now receiving death threats and wants to know who's responsible for the loss of his wife. ABC 13's Steve Campion spoke with him over the phone again today. Steve?
Eric, right now, Alexis's husband, Tom Sharkey, tells us that he's working with HPD homicide detectives, giving them access to anything they want, turning over emails, messages, and phone records. We had a 6-minute conversation today where he told me that following his wife's death and disappearance, he has started to receive death threats. He sounded emotionally distraught and very upset.
Oh, what are you doing, Lex? This is just
my hangout. Authentic, silly, weird. Just some of the descriptions Devin Styler used talking about her friend, Alexis Sharkey.
When you think of an ideal woman, it's Lex. I always told everybody she had it all. She was brains, she was beauty.
The 26-year-old shared so much of her life on social media with a following totaling tens of thousands. To those who knew her,
They say tens of thousands, but it was 20,000. I still don't know. It's kind of, I guess if you're 20K, you were considered a.
She was just Lex.
And I always called her Lexipedia. That was my name for her because she was literally like Wikipedia in a person.
They can't make sense of how her naked, lifeless body ended up on this West Houston road. A garbage truck driver spotted feet sticking up from the brush Saturday morning.
Somebody could just throw her on, somebody could just throw her on the side of the road like garbage, it just like she was nothing. It astonishes me. It blows me away that such a horrible and disgusting thing could happen to such a beautiful person, because nobody deserves that.
Alexis's husband, Tom, seen in pictures on her Instagram and on his Facebook profile, told me today he's now receiving death threats. Tom Sharkey says she wasn't always the happy person seen online. She was stressed. Quote, "Sir, my wife was an amazing woman. She really was. There's always other sides to everything. I was the one holding her, cuddling her, and building her back up." End quote. In the phone conversation, which felt disjointed at times, Tom Sharkey said he finally found Alexis. Quote, "Everybody was still looking for her, and I located her Sunday morning in the coroner's office. They couldn't ID my wife.
Really? No, I didn't know
They
that.
didn't know who she was. She was just there." End quote. When asked for more specifics and details, Sharkey abruptly ended the conversation, saying, quote, I'm sorry. I'm not a jerk. I'm just destroyed." End quote. Her friends vow they'll fight for the truth, demanding justice in her case.
That's our girl, and we love her, and we want the world to know how much she's loved and how much she's missed.
And Eric and Alona, it is important to point out that the medical examiner has not ruled a cause of death for Alexis Sharkey. Now, in that conversation that we had with Tom Sharkey, he described the marriage between the two as happy, calling her his life partner. He said they were not filing for divorce. He also says that he is confident that Houston police can figure this out and, quote, find everyone that was involved, end quote.
So the people that are making the allegations about the divorce and the abuse and all that, those are the friends. The mother, according here to Fox, I'll just show you guys real quick. The mother says that she wasn't aware of marital problems. Doesn't mean that she did or didn't have them, which it's true, right? So a lot of times too, your friends probably know more about your personal problems depending on your relationship. Sometimes parents have no idea. She wasn't even in the same state, you know. So the other thing too I wanted to show is that police do say that Tom is cooperating.
Police say Alexis Sharkey was last seen in front of her apartment complex Friday. Police first talked to Sharkey's husband when she was reported missing Saturday afternoon. Homicide detectives say they've also spoken to Sharkey's husband and confirm he's cooperating with their investigation.
So they say he's cooperating. The other thing too, let's go here. Before we get into this long Facebook post, let me see. Well, let me do this one here.
Well, the death of a well-known social media influencer, Alexis Sharkey, remains a mystery today. Her body, that of the 26-year-old, was found naked under a bush in a park in Houston just over a week ago, just miles from her home. That during the day after Thanksgiving. A lot of people are shocked. What happened? Ted Williams joins us now, former Washington, D.C. police detective, Fox News contributor. So, Ted, her body's found under a bush by workers who just see the feet. Doesn't seem that police have much to go on. What are they doing?
Well, Eric, I think it's just the opposite. I think that law enforcement has a great deal to go on down there. They are gathering evidence. I think at this stage, they're waiting for the results of the autopsy report. By now, I'm sure the autopsy has been performed. So I think it's only a matter of time before an arrest is made in this case.
Do you think that it's related to her social influence work? She's been on Instagram, tens and tens of thousands of followers, or potentially something else?
Well, Eric, I think that law enforcement are looking into that aspect of the case. But I also think that they're looking at folks that are more closer related to Alexis. For instance, her husband is one of the individuals that I'm sure that they are looking at, and they're trying to perhaps even clear of this perhaps murder. What we know from her friends is that about a year ago, she married her husband, Tom. They moved to the Houston area. According to her friends, that has been a rocky relationship, that she was in the process of perhaps seeking a divorce, and that there's allegations that Tom, her husband, has been physically abusive to Alexis. So authorities are trying to clear these facts up one way or another.
Yeah, some of the reports said that her friend said she was scared for her life. Here's what Tom Sharkey, he did an interview, phone interview with KTRK TV down in Houston. He said he's destroyed by what happened to her. And this is part of what he said, quote, she wasn't happy. She was stressed. I would cuddle her to try to make her strong. She was an amazing woman. Sir, my wife was an amazing woman. She really was. There's always other sides to everything. I was the one holding her, cuddling her, and building her back up. I don't need to set the record straight. I'll let it play out the way it is. I know what my life was with my wife. How do you think this will go, and when do you think there could be an arrest, Ted?
Well, I as I've said, I think an arrest in this case is imminent. I think that once the autopsy report comes back, then the evidence that they've gathered, and some of the significant evidence, Eric, that they've gathered is surveillance video of the area in which her body was found. And I think they have a description of a car in that was in that area at the time that her body was found. So I think that the way this is going to go is that within a week or so from now, we will have an answer. I think that in most homicide cases, it's individuals that know the victim. And I think that this is one of those cases where the individual who murdered, if this girl was murdered, and I believe she was, knew this victim.
Thank you, Facebook. Emily, Susanna, appreciate that. Appreciate the support from you guys. He didn't technically find her body. The sanitation worker did, but he was at the coroner's office on Sunday and he identified her body. I had something else in my mind. Well, let me read this because this was supposedly Tom's story from a Facebook group. I don't know what Facebook group this was, but somebody sent me this. And, this is just allegedly. I don't know if this is true or not, but it's kind of interesting. An anonymous source has reached out to me that has known Tom for a while. I also want to stress that this is what Tom has been telling people he's close to directly, so it might not be the truth. This is just how Tom is painting the events leading up to the day and the actual days of her tragic death. So this is Tom's truth. I'm pretty much copying and pasting what I was told so nothing gets skewed. So this is all allegedly. Tom has been a train wreck for about 3 weeks now. It all started when her and her friends went to Marfa. He called a few weeks ago saying he was in a dark place and was thinking about ending his own life, saying that Alexis was his everything and he was losing her and she wasn't in a good place. He also said that they have the divorce papers in the apartment, but neither of them have signed them, but they wanted to work it out, which he denied about the divorce papers, or that they were going to get a divorce. Tom is very manipulating and lies about anything and everything. He's a one-upper kind of guy. If you've done something that's cool, he's done it better and over 1,000 times. Something I can't copy and paste. Tom does have a history of DV, domestic. I don't know if that's true, but I think there was a YouTuber that covered that. I didn't watch the video, but you guys can go check that out after. Look online. He's saying all of this about him and Alexis, and I don't know if it's genuine or he's laying a baseline for this whole situation. There are real divorce papers. They were having problems. He said Alexis wanted to have an open relationship, but Tom just couldn't do that. He said he didn't want to share his wife with another man, so they supposedly agreed to work it out. They had a small Thanksgiving together at the apartment because she couldn't stand to be alone on Thanksgiving. Everything was supposedly fine. Then she goes out with her friends, comes back home, as he said hi and not herself, which multiple articles state that he claims that she was intoxicated. They get into an argument, which I saw that I think on the Houston thing, and she wanted to leave. He wouldn't let her drive her Jeep because she was high or drunk. She leaves out the back door and he runs out the front thinking she's going to the Jeep. She doesn't come around the front, so he goes to the back to see she has jumped the fence and is getting in a small black sedan. He had to go to get his car to follow the cats. What? He had to go get his car to follow the cats were out, so he had to get them back inside. Then he activates the Find My iPhone app and he starts following. He loses signal and then sits at a gas station for 2 hours. He calls her friends boyfriend and explains that he had just gotten into an argument and says that if they know where she is, he'd like to know, and goes home for 5 hours and starts looking for her. And that time, I guess the friend had the police. And that time, the friend had called the police somewhere from there. He's contacted by detectives. They come to the house, don't find anything out of line except shrooms, coke, and some other street drugs, but no sign of DV, domestic violence. He continues searching. I'm fuzzy on the timeline. Eventually, the detective calls him and tells him to call a number he gave him. It's the coroner morgue. He goes to identify her, and that's what he told everyone he found her. That's a whole he found her thing, but not really. But he went to the morgue to identify her. I think this is according to this person. I think Tom was 100% capable of killing her, but also can't rule out a lot of other things. Detectives said they had his phone all day yesterday. Today, he is at a friend's house, ranch, a few hours away from Houston, and law enforcement knows exactly where he's at. He didn't answer his phone. He didn't answer all day yesterday and thought he was on the run. He's getting much death threats and claims he hasn't done any interviews with any media. Did mention that Dateline and several other shows have contacted him. People have told him to get off social media because it will drive him insane, and that's why his profile is private. Just talked about earlier, he deactivated his social media. Tom, supposedly to this person, isn't intelligent enough to do a murder, which you really don't actually have to be intelligent to do a murder. I think there's even been serial killers that haven't really been intelligent. When I first heard about her being found dead, I thought, without a doubt, I thought that he killed her. Then I heard all of the being found naked, her leaving with someone and all that, and I can't pin it on him. I wouldn't be surprised if it's him. I won't be surprised if it's someone else either. I do know that 100% she was sleeping with the Mexican club owner she met in Tulum, and Tom knew about it. Like I stated above, it's what Tom was telling people directly. Don't know if it's true, yada, yada, yada. And there was this other rumor too. Not even going to mention the guy. Supposedly, allegedly, she was cheating with some guy, Seb, but I don't know about all that. I wanted to play this clip too from Nancy Grace, and yeah, Nancy Grace. And I think I might open up the lines too. Oh, they're checking surveillance footage because supposedly they did see a vehicle was seen that night or something around that area. So they're looking at that. I don't know what came of the surveillance footage.
Her name is Alexis Sharkey. A sanitation worker in Houston found her body on Saturday after she had been reported missing. Her mother says she is convinced it was murder. Her husband says he's getting death threats, and her friends are in a state of shock.
Somebody could just throw her on the side of the road like garbage, it just like she was nothing.
To get the word spread that someone
thank you, Karen.
killed her, and we need answers.
Let's bring in Nancy Grace. She is the host of the Fox Nation show Crime Stories with Nancy Grace, and she has a new series coming out, Crimes of Christmas with Nancy Grace. It'll be available for download on the 14th. Nancy, it's been a while. Great to see you. What do you think is going on with the death of Alexis Sharkey here?
Likewise, I do not believe that Alexis Sharkey, 26-year-old Instagram influencer, as you said, with thousands of followers, young, beautiful, educated, the world before her, I do not believe she committed suicide. Also, because the body showed no visible signs of injury, I don't think she was walking along and got hit by a car. This was a side road near the I-10 corridor. There were very few businesses there. We have learned, however, that there was a salon nearby. Video surveillance is being gleaned, combed through right now from that. Apparently, one car has emerged. The reason I say I don't think it's suicide, if you look at the method and assessment of risk of suicide or homicide, very rarely will you find a woman of her age that commits suicide without being clothed.
Yeah.
Now, why? I'm not a shrink, as you well know, but this is...
I didn't even know like suicide was a thought for people. I never really thought that. Maybe there's people out there that think that. I'm going to call into the line real quick. People want to call in. There's like 2 more clips that I can show. But if people want to give their thoughts and opinions, hopefully that's the right number. And if not, we'll keep it moving.
Thank you for calling Call-In Studios host and call screener line. Please enter your show number and press...
Enter your 6-digit PIN number.
All right. Keep going. Oh,
Welcome, host. You are now in the host room and can manage your callers from the call-in studio web interface.
Thank you. Karen, thank you for the super chat. Thanks for all you do. Appreciate that.
Not a suicide where she, threw herself or was OD.
Still waiting on the results.
Somehow harmed herself there. Therefore, due to her young age, her health, and not a suicide, not an accident, it can only be homicide. There are only a few choices.
And in the case of homicide, as you well know, Nancy, the attention always turns, first of all, toward either the spouse or the love interest. The husband, Tom, has issued a statement to KTRK saying she wasn't happy. She was stressed. I would cuddle her to try to make her strong. She was an amazing woman. Sir, my wife was an amazing woman. She really was. There's always other sides to everything. I was the one holding her, cuddling her, and building her back up. But friends have suggested that the relationship was on the rocks, that she wanted a divorce. And one friend said, quote, what Alexis said to her, he strangles me and chokes me out and I black out and wake up on the bathroom floor every single time.
Hey, Irish.
Seems to be some
Thanks for coming
competing
by.
stories
Appreciate
going
that.
on here.
Competing is
Yeah, the friends are saying one thing, husband saying another thing.
certainly one way of putting it. Now, a bad marriage does not a murder make. I do believe that she was confiding in her friends about their marital problems. They had not been married quite a year. They got married December 2019. Big age difference. She's 26, he's 49. He has declared his innocence and is, as you said, getting death threats, according to him, over this. But let's look at the timeline. Forget about the marriage and the love or the hate. Let's look at the hard evidence. What we know is that she was last seen the day after Thanksgiving. I noticed that he said he had a Thanksgiving breakfast with her. I don't know about a social influencer not posting a Martha Stewart like Thanksgiving turkey at lunch or dinner. That didn't happen. That raised a question to me. But then on Black Friday, she was supposed to meet some of her friends for a movie. And she never showed up. They went to the apartment. They banged on the door.
Yep.
And they're the ones that raised the alarm that she was missing. I have a concern with that. It's also been brought to my attention that one source says that Alexis left the home the night before around 11 o'clock, and nobody knows why. Now, I have a lot of problems understanding how nobody could know where she was for this long, which adds a lot of mystery to these facts. But again, the husband is saying he is not involved.
So he's claiming he's not involved. I wanted to show you guys this one clip that I thought was kind of weird. It's unrelated, but I just thought it was so weird. And I don't know why. And it's with regards to the friend. What's her name? Tanya. I thought it was a little weird. Tanya. I guess they're into surgeries, or she's into surgeries. Somebody sent me this clip. I just thought it was so weird because I was just thinking about the whole superficial group of people, and she got like all these surgeries to look like Meghan Markle, which I had to Google that person. Duchess of something. I don't know. I was like, who is that? Some sort of actress? I don't know.
Who wants to look like Meghan Markle?
She has these great
Welcome,
curves.
MH.
We told you how Tanya Ricardo got 8 procedures in one day to look like the Duchess. Cheek contouring and filler, lipo under her chin, breast implants, lipo on her tummy, hips, and lower back.
This
and
is crazy
a
to me.
Brazilian
Why?
butt lift.
I'm ready.
This is how Tanya looked as she was.
And the thing I'm wondering is like, how does this even get on TV? I don't understand. I guess because she's changing herself to look like somebody. Like, why is this even like
Wheeled out of the OR,
Inside
all
Edition?
bandaged. Now, 3 weeks later, Tanya is getting ready for the reveal. A photo of her idol helps to style her hair and makeup.
Who does that?
At Houston,
Like, I'm going to get all these plastic surgeries done to look like somebody, like a celebrity. Maybe that's a normal thing. I don't know.
trendy restaurant Bizu, a big crowd of family and friends.
And then the thing too that was kind of bewildering to me, like there's a celebration for it too, for her changing herself to another person, trying to look like somebody else. And there's like a this is like a news camera. Like, this is news. I'm just looking at this like, what the heck is this? You know?
Family and friends is anxiously waiting. Now the big moment. Tanya looks amazing. Her cosmetic surgeon, Houston's Dr. Franklin Rose, is very pleased.
She looks prettier.
Side by side, Tanya
weird
showed
stuff,
off
I
her
don't know.
regal new look. Her dad was speechless. Boyfriend Michael was also blown away.
I am extremely happy with my Meghan Markle makeover.
I guess that's a different life we don't know about, right? Those must be the same people that considered like 20K as like a influencer type of thing. I did have one more clip. Oh yeah, this last clip. If anybody wants to call in, they can. I don't really. This whole thing is like I have no idea who did it. I don't have too many thoughts about this case. I honestly I did it because many people requested me to cover it. It's strange. It's mysterious. Don't know, who did it.
Off of the interstate, and we are now going to be getting an update from Fox 26's Ivory Hecker on the very latest.
Definitely gotten a lot of attention.
She is seeing with this investigation and really giving us the updates as they are coming in. Ivory, thank you so much for joining us here today on News Now from Fox again.
Absolutely, yeah. And yesterday we told you about that surveillance video that police had obtained from the one business that was on that road. Well, her body was dumped right off the interstate. It was actually a pretty secluded area off the interstate, this small, narrow road with only one business on it, mostly fields there. But the business was a beauty salon. They had a camera facing the roadway. I'm told by people close to this case that there was a car spotted on that surveillance video. So now it's going to be the question of who was in that car that was just right nearby the ditch where Alexis Sharkey's body was found Saturday morning after she went missing Friday. Now, it's a very unique case, strange circumstances where her body was found partially open to the public. I mean, you could see the body from the roadway. Her legs were...
It's kind of weird, too, the way she was just discarded with her legs hanging out. Somebody was really trying to hide her. You would think they would, unless they were rushing.
Sticking out of the bushes in the ditch, but she was completely naked. And the interesting thing is no visible signs of injury. So we spoke with a forensics expert.
That's Ivory Hecker, by the way.
Retired police forensics expert about what sorts of cases would involve someone not having any signs of injuries. And the woman I talked to, Jennifer Shen, formerly with San Diego police, she said that a lot of these cases would be a drug overdose where maybe the person...
And that's what a lot of people are thinking. Well, some of the people I spoke to, Flossie. I mean, there's a lot of people who think it's the husband. Some people think it's a drug overdose. Some people think it's like the friends. I never even spoke about my name. I don't think I'm going to do it tonight. I mean, they've had several lawsuits and all this kind of stuff, but like, I don't think like the company put out a hit on her or anything like that.
That she was with when she overdosed would then
that's what I see.
dump the body to
fake.
kind of hide
All
their
plastic,
involvement
fake
in the situation that led to the overdose. She said that that is one of the cases that would involve no visible signs of injuries. She said she doesn't have reason to believe that this particular case is such a case. She said it could also be poisoning or some sort of toxin or drug that led to this young woman's death, or even smothering. Smothering could lead to it as well, but it's a case that is definitely raising a lot of eyebrows and a lot of questions.
Yeah, it's definitely getting a lot of traction. You're seeing it, well, because of social media, because she was on Instagram. Ivory, is there anything that her fans or followers have been saying as they keep on posting about this news?
Well, I mean, a lot of people are asking questions about her husband's involvement in this. And like our forensics expert said today, is the people closest to her are the ones that investigators often look at first. And often it's the husband they look at first. Was he involved in this in some way? I actually went to his apartment today to see if we could talk directly with him. He lives just about 4 minutes from the scene where her body was found. Now, they lived together. They,
Monet.
by close friends told me they were in the middle of filing for divorce, but they did live together in an apartment about 4 minutes from the scene where her body was found. Went there today, knocked on his door, no answer. Also no answer to phone call, but he is in those Instagram posts with her on social media. Just most recently, Halloween, they had their couples costume together dressed as Vikings. So a lot of people are looking at him and wondering. That's the main question I'm getting from the viewers, and so many viewers now tuning into this case and actually following her Instagram, which grew from 20,000 followers up to 50,000 followers now, just in a matter of days since her body was found Saturday. So many people with a lot of questions, but police right now are not saying anything about suspects, period. They're not calling this a murder at this point. They are just working on collecting some hard facts about what happened.
Yeah, so
let me take got one caller, 754. How you doing? Where you calling
Hi,
from?
how are you?
Good. Who's this?
Hi, good evening. How are you guys doing tonight? Hope everybody's doing okay.
Thank you for calling.
So, thank you. So, I was thinking about this. Like, the friend who did the interview that was looking all weird and acting all strange, she gave me the vibes of that couple in Nebraska. I think it was the Bailey Boswell case where they like got online and they had their sunglasses on and their hoodie or whatever. And you heard about this case?
No, actually, no.
Okay, so it's like a young girl that met a couple off of Tinder, and then they kidnapped her and they killed her, and then they started putting weird videos of themselves online trying to like say they were innocent. There had nothing to do with the missing. But one thing that stuck out to me was that the way she had her hair pulled back, it looked really thin. And she had those glasses on, kind of like to mask, like, you know, so we can't like really look in her eyes. And then the fact that her body was found naked with like no apparent bruises or sexual assault or nothing like that, I think it could have been a friend. And I think the reason why her clothes were gone was because, oh my God, like I don't want my hair to be all over her clothes. You know what I'm saying? Like she didn't like whoever probably took her clothes off because her longer. And I think that the boyfriend, whoever was interrogating this lady, from what I read, was like an ex-detective or something like that. And I wish he would have asked her questions about her boyfriend, like what he thought about it or what he felt about it, so that we could have seen how she would have reacted off like an off-track question like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's really close to that chick. She lived really close to the chick, and
she
was
did?
the first one to contact the mom. Like I said, it reminded me. Yeah, she said like she was the one that contacted the mom.
Yeah, but she lived close to
really
the
weird.
place
like,
too, to
she
the area.
doesn't know.
We're talking.
Yeah, I think that she lived close by. Didn't she say she lived like? And she said, oh, another thing was that she said that if she was going to jail, right, the way she had worded out was weird.
Right, I thought that was weird too.
Like, Alexis would be the first one I called. Yeah, she'd be like, Alexis was the first one I called. So I imagine if Alexis was going through an episode or whatever, she was drunk or whatever, she called that girl.
Right.
You know, and she was probably like, oh, turn your GPS off so that your husband doesn't go looking for you or whatever. You know?
Right.
Yeah, like pretty sure, because then everything, whatever, like, okay, so this is going to sound a little weird or whatever, but I was looking at pictures of them kissing, and they both have their eyes closed while they're kissing. And I thought, like I think they really did love each other. And I think that those girls that she was hanging out with probably had like some kind of negative influence on her, because I don't think it had anything to do with the marriage really at all. I think she was being hated on and manipulated by those girls. And that video of her coming out where everybody's like, yeah, you look like Meghan Markle.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it be those same type of people that would back her up if she did something like that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Anyway, that girl was mad shady, and that's all I have to say about that. That we didn't get a straight answer. I wish that detective would have thrown her off track and been like, so what's your boyfriend think about it? Had he ever met Alexis? Something like that, because I mean, that makes sense.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. It reminded me so much of that Bailey Boss.
I'm gonna check out that story. But yeah, thank you for the call. Appreciate
I can't
it.
see. But, yeah. Oh,
Huh?
thank you guys.
Yeah,
for
thanks.
listening to
Thank you
my
for
rant. Have a
calling.
good night.
All right, take it. Woo! All right. Thank you for calling. Appreciate that. I'm gonna finish this video. Yeah, I don't know. There's people that are looking into all the different conspiracy theories and all that stuff, and I'm not gonna go down the rabbit hole. But there's a lot of different things and people digging, and you can go to the Facebook groups and all that stuff.
Interesting that you brought that up there about, because I was noticing, I was like, wow, that really shot up fast there. The followers that continue to want to see, just what type of person she was, and really try to get to know her a little bit. Unfortunately, now that she has passed away there. Now, obviously, like you've been talking about, police not saying anything, but we know in the background that investigation will be continuing. Have they hinted at all? Will there be a news conference or any type of update, or not really until a possible arrest is made?
Done.
They said that their Twitter is the main place to look for answers. I tried calling police again today. They will not say a word. They're getting bombarded with so much national media right now. So they're keeping it to their Twitter. They said, if anything, we'll post it there. In the meantime, they basically said, leave us alone and let us investigate. But oftentimes, cases at this stage are so delicate, they want to keep some of that information secret so that they can talk to witnesses and determine whether the witness is credible or whether this person is making up their involvement based on information they've gathered from the media. So they want to keep this a little quiet right now as they try to get the real facts on what happened.
And as you've been doing your research there on this story, for people that might not know, okay, Instagram influencers, I mean, how much could they make potentially from a post or a sponsored ad that they do?
How much money do Instagram influencers make? Well, I mean, I think that ranges a lot depending on their followers, but I've heard of people making anywhere from hundreds to thousands of dollars per post. So it's definitely a business that people do engage in and actually make a career out of, and that was the case with Alexis Sharkey. But the potential downside to that is when you are so active on there, you're a successful influencer by showing every aspect of your life, but then that opens you up to...
I highly doubt that was every aspect of her life, though.
To potential stalkers, perhaps. And our expert today was saying that's one thing police are likely going to look at is, were those 20,000 people following her, was any of them involved in her disappearance and death?
Yeah, that's a really, really great point.
Yeah, I'm thinking it was more personal, but and I don't think she was making that much money off of just posting. The 20,000 followers probably need a lot more than that, more engagement to making that kind of money. Though I don't know what she was making at Monet. She might have been making decent money at Monet.
Because you just don't know, obviously, all the people that are following you, especially when you get that many followers there. So that's something definitely to take a look at, and we'll see where that investigation goes.
Thank you, man.
Ivory Heckler, thank you so much for joining us here again today and giving us the updates that you were able to get today from your sources. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right, and you take care. And once we get some more.
That's it, man. That's all I got for you guys tonight, man. Thank you guys for coming. Make through all the notes. I don't think I have anything else as far as notes. A lot of different theories, a lot of different conspiracies, and I think ultimately we're gonna have to either something comes up on the surveillance videos that they're looking at, or the one vehicle supposedly that they saw, or the autopsy results, toxicology, maybe tell something, Charlotte say Hubs killed her, end of story. Allegedly. I saw some theory that involved her being involved with some companionship services. I heard about that too. See, a lot of this stuff, things that people were telling me, the Facebook groups, they go really, really into that stuff. I personally don't do that far. Like that's just too much. The rabbit holes are just crazy. I've gotten down some rabbit holes. You could just spend hours and hours and hours and hours. You could only imagine what kind of big video you'd have to make. I did drop the line. I mean, I'm cutting it now, but I did drop the line. So we had one call. I was gonna call it a night. It's just I don't know. It's really hard to say. All there is really just theories now, man. That's all it is. Until we get more, just kind of like well, I mean it's a completely different case, but Quan, we're waiting on the results too for the autopsy results, the final results. Wonder what happened with that. So this guy registered the same address to Alexis while she was living there. This may be the ex-fiance. Who knows there too? The whole ex-fiance thing too. I don't know. You know, they're gonna have to look into everybody. Tanika, thank you. One of her friends said she had the perfect life. Envy could definitely have played a part. Envy is a dangerous thing. That's true. I also think that with social media, when you see things on Instagram, that's probably just a fraction of that person's life. Like how Tom said that he was like, there was two sides to it, and like he was comforting her and holding her up. Maybe that's probably true. You know what I'm saying? She was stressed out. It's probably true, man. The social media stuff is just it's just a face. It's just what you see on the outside, you know. So you have no idea, you know. Even myself, I do all kinds of shit, bullshit I dealt with today, and I'm here tonight talking about Alexis. You know what I'm saying? You know. Let me take this. This is Jason, Dr. J. Dr. J, what's up, man? What are your thoughts on this case story? Welcome.
Love and blessings. First of all, you know me, I'm gonna give a shout out to Maddie before I do anything.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Like what we gotta realize as individuals is it takes a different individual to hop on like this YouTube and say what I say. My name is Jason Bolden. Like doc to me, that's my real name. Like I'm in your chat, bro. That's my real name.
Oh shit!
So
Don't tell them that. They're gonna look into you, man. Don't tell them that.
No, man, no, dox me. Run up on me. I'm terrified. I'm scared. I'm not a YouTube gangster. I am terrified. Please don't run up on me, because if you do, you're gonna be a teacher because I'm scared. You understand? So my point is, like, let's just, y'all have to be terrified about these women and end up missing. Like, it's hard to go back from left to right, but you know, bro, it's like it's a whole like 9:30 where I am, so we sideways wasted where I am. But anyway, it's like when I spoke to Yasmin the other day, I wanted to get clarity because I'm a man and I want to know what I can do to the women in my life to let them know that I know that, like, please be honest with me. And the thing is, it's like, bro, we all want to be, for some reason, like, everybody wants to act like everything's okay when things are not okay. And like, if anyone gets anything from me calling in right now is, if things are not okay, let the people around you know that things are not okay. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Like, bro, like, this woman found on the side of the road, someone needed to know that there was something going on in her life where she would end up on the side of the road. Like, the last story you told, someone needed to know that the woman would end up in a trunk. Bro, Mel, you got me so messed up right now. I don't even know what to do right now. Bro, like, women losing their lives, and as men, we need to step up. And whatever that is, we need to ask the women in our life what we can do better. Because I don't like the fact that women are in trunks or being found on the side of the road.
It's happening all the time, man. All kinds of craziness. I feel like it's even more now. I don't know if it's like people locked in 2020. People just going nuts. I see all kinds of stories every day, man. I just turn off the feed sometimes because it's just too much.
Bro, you see me in your Discord, and shout out to everybody that's not in male Discord. It's popping, by the way. But like, I'm playing music. Like, I'm waking up in the morning with my foot in my face, and dogs licking my face. Like, I don't deal with the same drama that most people deal with. But what I'm telling you is, based off the stories that you are giving me and others, like, we need to cherish these moments. And when I'm in your live chat, what scares me, and shout out to Kara, right? Kara K is the homie, right? I love Kara K. Shout out to Kara K. When I hear women that's been abused, like, I feel a way. So I can't deal with all this drama every day, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So when you post a video on Facebook, when you and Maddie at the Jumper Gym, right? That's what I love. That's what I think life is. Like, you know what I mean? Like my daughter 18 now. She about to be 19. I wish I could take her to a Jumper Gym, but she's 19. And you know, I hate the fact that she has to live in a life where the things that you discuss are happening. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Maybe it was happening before you ever came on the YouTube, but you are the person that showed me that these things are happening. So, like, man, I pray for all the women in your chat. I pray for all the women that they created that's in your chat. Like, I pray for that, bro. And like, let me digress. I'll say this, man. Love and this channel. The queen of this channel is Maddie. Shout out to Maddie and most praises.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Smoking good.
You be smoking what?
Good, bro. I'm saying crazy about you.
Oh.
Shout out to Maddie. Cut me off.
All right,
Love
bro.
and blessings.
Thank you, man. I appreciate the call.
Listening right now, yeah, every woman that's listening right now, please be safe.
Oh. Thanks, man. Appreciate you, bro. And the support.
Yeah, bro.
Take care, man. All right. I just dropped the Discord link if people want to join after. I might come in a little bit and chill. Let's talk about this story really quick before we end off. MH pointed this out to me. I did see this the other day. I didn't post it. By the way, Sin, thank you so much for the Cash App. Appreciate that. Love you. Let's just all the crazy stuff that's going on right now in the world, right? The nuts of the world. And this is another supposed influencer. Well, they didn't call her an influencer in the Daily Mail. They called her a wannabe influencer. She had, when I read down here, the medical student with 9,400 followers. Everybody's a YouTuber. Everybody's an Instagrammer. Everybody's an influencer. Those terms don't mean much, really, unless you're really, really big, kind of. But Anna Lekovac, 21 years old, from Komrat, Moldova, suspected of killing her mother. She's alleged to have cut 40-year-old Praskovia Lovercut heart out of her chest. Levick lied down in the dock in court while cleaning her nails and laughed. Hold on, was that what that clip was? Let me see. Oh, she got here in court? Hold on a second. Wow, bro. Look at that. We're going to talk about crazy. It's not just the guys, man. Now she has her notoriety and fame. Oh. You can buy followers too, yep. Yeah, at least she's following COVID guidelines, right? Yeah, she's laughing too. And a medical student. Does anybody know what her Instagram page is? Let's just take a look at some of the pictures. So I'm saying these little let me get off Discord for now. I'll come back after the stream. Thank you guys for joining though. Let me close this. See, everything looks fine here. You're not going to see all the craziness on social media unless they're really crazy. Some people do show all that craziness. This is the mother. Let's read some more of the details. Moldavian Instagram wannabe stabbed her mother, then cut out her heart and other organs while she was still alive. The suspect, a medical student, gouged out the internal organs, including her lungs and intestines, with a kitchen knife, it's alleged. Anna from Moldova then calmly took a shower and went to meet her boyfriend. Almost reminds me of that story we covered. Amanda Sharp, the mother that killed two of the kids. The father comes back home and she's just chilling. It's like, oh, what happened? I don't remember anything. Amanda Sharp, you guys can check out that video after. I'll put the link in the if you want to check it out if you haven't seen this story. That's the right one. Kills the kids. Guy comes home. Both the kids are stacked on each other. She took a shower after. She initially stabbed her mother, 40, who remained alive, it is alleged. She stabbed her mother with a knife, then cut out her heart of the living woman. The suspect decided to rip the heart out of the chest of a dying woman. It is hard to believe that she cut her heart out in the most literal sense of the word. The medical student with 9,400 followers appeared in court after being detained the following day. Reports said that the suspect's mother had come from working in Germany and believed her daughter was on drugs. Oh. They think they got flock out there? What kind of they probably got some crazy stuff out there, huh? She had arranged treatment for Anna, who became angry, but her uncle Vladimir denied that the trainee medic be put in rehab. So I'm talking about too. When I talk about that one video I posted, how some people can clearly see shit and others don't, and so they'll guide you to the point of death and hell. The uncle said this was a very good family. Podolska loved her daughter so much, and she spent as much time as her as she could. It took 2 hours for police to tell me Anna is the main suspect. I could not imagine this. The detainee is the main suspect. So I'm telling you, man, for some people, it is so blatant and obvious. I've dealt with people like this in my own life. You can see the flags, the red flag with some of these people, these nuts. And the same person standing right next to you seeing this shit, they'll be like, oh, no, nothing's wrong. Oh, that's fine. Oh, it's not a bad thing. Oh, it's okay. And look who's dead. Right? That's just crazy. She had arranged for treatment. She was actually going to get her help. Not to say it would have saved her or not, or she would have been dead or not, or eventually maybe would have got killed. But you're the mother. You know some shit's going wrong, and this guy's going to step in. Nah, don't put her in there. How do you become a supporter? There's a link. You're on Facebook. I can send you the link. You just hit the join button at the bottom. It should be under right next to, I think next to the subscribe button. Although the fact I've only got 28 followers, working my way down. Oh, Lorena Bobbitt. That was an interesting story. Tell me when that happened. But I think the guy supposedly was abusing her, and she snapped. You know how many people I've known like, oh no, everything's fine. Oh no, don't worry. Oh man, no reacting. No, that bitch is crazy. Oh, that's fine. Oh, that's okay. Oh. Wow. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me tonight, Friday night, man. I hope you guys stay safe. Did you guys see that video where the nurse passed out? I don't know if she actually got the vaccine or not. There were, let me see, nurse passes out. I don't know if she actually took the vaccine or not. Nurse faints while, let's watch this real quick too. Look at this. I could probably go with you guys all night, but I have to do a late night video with you guys one night. We can all just chill, maybe even on Discord. Multiple reports are saying after she got the shot, she passed out, which the CDC supposedly says that's normal. Sometimes if you get a vaccine, it's normal to pass out. Shit, in my world, that's not normal. And that's what I'm telling you too. These type of people, you know some shit's wrong, and they're going to tell you, no, that's normal. Your body's shutting down, telling you something's wrong. No, sir. I have a lab coat. It's normal. Just take it. Right? Okay, I'll ignore my body. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you're right. Let's check this out. It's because they don't want you thinking for yourself anymore. It's normal.
I'm sorry.
These people will get you killed. I'm telling you. Just minutes after receiving the vaccine. She has a medical condition that causes her to faint when she feels pain. So they're saying it's the medical condition of pain. But it was, I mean, how long after was the thing? Doctors later confirmed her episode was not due to the ingredients of the vaccine. It's just normal. She was on TV, so I don't know if she was just nervous and she fainted, man. But I don't know, bro. That passing out shit. Oh, it's okay. Normal. The Center for Disease and Control Prevention also said that fainting may occur after various types of vaccinations and medical procedures, usually due to pain or anxiety. To pass out from pain, it has to be excruciating, not a little bloop. Okay, to pass out from pain, it's like you get even getting shot. I don't know how you pass out. A bone being broken, you're being tortured or something. I mean, but whatever. Go get your shots. Go get your shots, man. It's normal. But thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Thank you guys for stopping by. If you haven't done so already, check out that lady, the woman, Brianna, the story I covered from Texas, killed by the boyfriend or whatever. So, but yeah, thank you guys. Take care of yourselves. Make sure you subscribe. I have more people that are not subscribed watching than are subscribed, believe it or not. Like, I think 60% of the people that watch, I think it was 60% of people that watch are not subscribed. People just passing by. So, analytics. Audience. 54% of the people from the last 28 days, 54% are not subscribed, 46% are subscribed. Also, make sure you turn on the bell notifications. 25%, 9,000 people on my channel out of what I'm at, 35,000, have all notifications turned on. 5,000 people on the channel have all notifications turned on and enabled YouTube notifications. So it's even less. All right. So thanks. Peace. Take care. Good night.